Before going into our peer learning session, so this Saturday and the coming Saturday, we will be having a iSchool workshop. It is an innovation workshop for FSM market, and you'll be having group discussions, and you'll be also introduced to a new tool called EpisNote. So today we have Dr. Hori San from iSchool, who will be giving us a brief about the 2-day program, which is going to happen on the next 2 Saturdays. So I welcome Hori-san.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And yeah, over to you, sir.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Hori from iSchool, and I am happy to provide innovation workshop July 24th, Saturday, and July 31st, 3 hours each, 2 days. And let me share the slide. Okay, so today I'm going to introduce the workshop we are going to have. The theme is designing fecal sludge management social enterprise. And let me first talk about iSchool. iSchool is an innovation education program started in 2009 at the University of Tokyo. And we provide a program to let people, create human-centered innovation, including new products, new services, new business model, or new social systems. It can be policy. And we do a group works with a participant from different fields. And workshop process is designed based on academic knowledge on human creativity. And this time we provide a workshop for fecal sludge management social enterprise. Social enterprise aims at solving societal issues through business and has potential to realize innovation. And in this workshop, a case of fecal sludge management social enterprise with reuse is studied. And the way the social enterprise started and ran fecal sludge management business, including functions and actions by all concerned stakeholders, is analyzed. And based on the analysis, possible functions and actions by various stakeholders, including government and funding agency and whatever it is, and discussed to establish fecal sludge management social enterprise with reuse in a certain area of India or in your country. And we provide a case study report on Safisana, Ghana. Safisana is a social enterprise in Ghana, and which started in 2009 to provide a public toilet service and treatment of waste. And so you are going to read the case of Safisana. And Safisana in Ghana engages in every part of the sanitation value chain, including waste collection, factory, and sale end products. And also we provide material, examples of innovative FSM technologies. And when you run a social enterprise for fecal sludge management, introduction of innovative technology is quite important for the viability of the social enterprise. So you are going to study several innovative technologies. And the goal of workshop is ideate actions by various stakeholders to realize FSM social enterprise in your country. And finally, you present the future story of fecal sludge management social enterprise in your country. Your enterprise. We use EpisNote. EpisNote is a web tool which is developed in iSchool, and this is synchronized, and this is useful for group work online. And this is a worksheet we are going to use. And first we do analysis of Safisana Ghana in this worksheet. And after that, we do ideation for actions by various stakeholders. So for the analysis of SAFISANA Ghana, this is an example. Like the issue that we need a stakeholder that starts social enterprise for FSM. And that issue is tackled by a player like NPO, NGO, foundation, and in this case, SAFISANA Foundation. And the action you pick up from the case is that a Dutch foundation named SAFISANA decided to kickstart a project in Ghana. And the second one is the issue is the appropriate model to be designed by somebody. And in the case of SAFISANA, the player who designed is the NPO, again, NPO NGO Foundation, and it's actually SAFISANA Foundation. The action by SAFISANA Foundation is that they developed a SAFISANA model. Okay? Like this, you study the case of SAFISANA, and you, in the workshop, you analyze the case of SAFISANA, like what kind of issues we have, and who is the player to tackle the issue, and what kind of action was taken in the case of SAFISANA. And then you study success factor from the case of SAFISANA. And then you are going to, ideate actions by players to enable business in your country. So this is the ideation of, fecal/management social enterprise. So like the issue to be tackled, that is a gray notes, we call it notes, and need a stakeholder that start a social enterprise for FSM. And then the player could be a certain foundation in your country, and local government also support. And then ideas of action is the pink note, the business idea competition for fecal/management business. So you are going to do a business idea competition in your country. That is the starting point of fecal/management business. And in this way, you create idea of actions to be taken for the fecal/management social business. And finally, you are going to present a story of the social enterprise in your country. And this is the example of story you are going to present. This is an example of SAFISANA Ghana. And like a Dutch foundation named SAFISANA kickstarted a project in Ghana to solve the sanitation crisis. And SAFISANA Ghana utilizes and collects organic as well as fecal waste to generate electricity and organic fertilizers and so on. So this is a story of SAFISANA, but similarly, you are going to present at the end of the workshop the story of your social business in your country. Okay? So in this workshop, we are going to use APES Note. APES Note is the web tool. We call it digital sticky notes. And today I'm going to show how to use it. And if you can join. And I copied the URL and email account and password to log in APES Note. So if you have your PC and if you can log in, why don't you try? So let me show how to use. And if you log in, you see a page like this. This is called APES Note Manager. Okay. And if you you find shared notebook 2107 ASCII workshop, and this is the notebook we are going to use. So if I click, then you see a worksheet like this. And let's try using APES Note is the example you are going to try. And we provided the material or document for APES Note. And following the document, and using this worksheet, and you can, okay, let's see. You can type in your, yeah, thank you very much, Sita. Like that, you can join. And today I prepared another worksheet test, and you can use this, and you can do anything you want. Okay, this is the test for today. And if you click, I created just one note. Okay, and if you type something, and then if you click return, or if you click this check button, then you can create a note, and you can move, okay, like that. And so if you can open Apes Note, why don't you try log in and then create notes, and you can choose color of the note like this, and you can create yellow note if you like. Thank you very much. Yeah, enjoy Apes Note. Yes. All right. So so this is synchronized. If somebody create notes, or if somebody move the notes, then you can see that. Okay. And if you click one node like this test, and then you see a small window on the left-hand side. And here you can change the color of the node. And also you can edit the text like this. And automatically the text is edited. And if you like, you can create links. And here I have a link node button on the bottom in the small window. And if you click, then you see this pattern of the background. And yeah, and if I click a node, then link is created. And if I click the node once again, then the link is deleted. And then you can create like this. And if you click the background, then I go back to the previous mode. And the link shows the relationship between the nodes. So if you move the node, then the relationship is kept. And you can, keep the link information like this, right? Then you can move everything by click and, and then you can move, you can zoom like this. So many things you can do, and we use it for the workshop. So please read the document on Apes Note, and please try this Apes Note before the workshop. Okay. Yeah. All right. So to enjoy this workshop, you have to read the case or a document I provided. One is the case of Safsana, and please read the case carefully, and then what kind of action was taken by what kind of organization or stakeholders. Please read the case, and also please read the document on the innovative technologies. And also we provided the Apes Note document for Apes Note. So please follow the document and please try Apes Note. This is the way to enjoy the workshop. And the iSchool workshop is enjoyable. And always we have a lot of smiles and people laugh. So I hope you enjoy iSchool workshop Saturday. And if you have some questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the briefing. So if there are any quick questions from the participants about the note or about the workshop, so we have a couple of minutes. So you can ask the question. So I guess there are no questions.
Okay, yeah,
So
great.
yeah, thank you so much, sir, for joining today.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dr.
see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, there's one question from one of the participants. Would you like to answer, sir? They're asking when did the SAPISANA project has started?
SAPISANA project, it
Yes.
started in 2009.
Okay. So yeah, I hope that answers Narul, sir. So, is there any questions? There's one more question from Sujoy, sir. He's asking, have they achieved ODF?
Well, they have some success, and also they have difficulties. And in the case, all the story about SAPISANA is described with data. So please study the case before the workshop on Saturday.
The case study of SAPISANA has been shared with all of you over email, so you can find more details about the case in the documents which have been shared. So thank you, Hori sir. Thank you for joining.
Yes, and also I put the presentation material of today on the chat. So please look at that.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I guess we can start our session of peer learning. I request participants, if you can please on your cameras, if you are willing to, then it would be great. We can have good discussions. I know it's on holiday, but yeah, we can spare the next 1.5 hours for interactions and all. So we have a couple of presentations lined up from country presentations and state presentations. So I'll be starting with the Indian scenario, and then we can listen from Nepal and also from the other states. So I'll be sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So I'll be just going through glance on the Indian scenario. I am pretty sure that every one of you have known about what achievements we have, like what the achievements India has taken, and in terms of sanitation. And I am pretty sure that every one of you have are aware of this, but just a glance on where we are standing now. So firstly, briefly about the Indian urban context. So we all know that India has been urbanizing, and many populations are residing in the urban areas. So the left side of the graph, we can see that the rural population is decreasing drastically, and also by 2045, we could see that 50% of the total population in India will be residing in urban areas, which is a huge number. And from the graph on the right side, we could also see that this expected that less than in the next less than a decade, about 7 cities in India will be reaching 1 crore population, and about 62 cities will be reaching about 10 to 50 lakhs of population. So this is a massive growth, and we have to check whether the infrastructure which is available will serve this huge population growth. So talking about the current status of sanitation, the graph shows a comparison between 2011 to 2019, and we could see there is an improvement in the containment system, especially. The septic tanks increased from 38.2% to 56%. And also we have eradicated open defecation and other systems like pit latrines or slab latrines. And the community toilets have also decreased from 12.6 to 9%. So we can say this is because of the Swachh Bharat mission and many of the national policies and schemes which have come into place in between this period. So there is a massive improvement in the containment system in India right now. And also we could see that there is an improvement in the disposal of water, wastewater. So from 2011, 19%, we have increased it to 30% by 2019. So these are some of the figures which have come from analysis done by the National FSM Alliance. And we are doing these are the improvements we have done in terms of the containment of the system. But when we see the sanitation as a whole value chain, so on the containment part, we are doing good in terms of the Swachh Bharat mission or the policies which we have right now. So about 57% of the urban households are connected to on-site sanitation system, and this number is likely to increase in the coming years. But the problem that we are still facing is in transport and the treatment of the fecal sludge. So even today, nearly 70% of the fecal sludge is untreated, and it is being indiscriminately dumped into open areas or water bodies. And also 62% of the total sewage is discharged into the water bodies directly. So this will create a burden on agriculture, on environment, and also public health. So there is an immediate action to be taken in terms of creating a safe transportation and also a safe treatment and reuse facilities for in every part of the country. So what are some of the key challenges that we are facing right now? One is the conception of seaward lines. So like not every city can have a STP or a seaward lines, because STPs remain to be highly resource technology, and also it requires high capital and O&M costs. So it is very much imperative to look into decentralized solutions which requires low investment and also low operations as compared to the sewer sanitation, that is like decentralized wastewater units or fecal sludge treatment plants, which are in terms of which requires low investment and low operation. So these are the best fit for some of these small towns where the on-site sanitation percentages are high. And the next, as I already told, since we don't have a proper regulatory system for emptying and transport, the waste which is being generated from this huge number of on-site sanitation systems are being collected indiscriminately and dumped into open drains or nalas, water bodies, and open spaces. So this is as dangerous as like one truck of fecal sludge is as dangerous as 5,000 people defecating in open. So it creates a lot of impact on public health and water bodies, which we need to resolve it, take up the action. And the third challenge that we are also facing is worker safety and well-being. Always the desludging operators, our sanitation workers, are not given the importance. So since 2017, at least one manual scavenger has been died in every 5 days. So it is equally important to provide mechanized cleaning for them and also give that well-being and worker safety benefits for them. So moving forward, just to touch upon our journey in terms of achieving the sanitation. So we started in 2008 with a national urban sanitation policy where FSM was not considered. And from there, we have moved to in 2016, where the first FSTP was built in Devanahalli, and also the primer and an advisor on fecal sludge and septage management was released in 2016. And 2017 is the main milestone where the Indian government has released the first FSM policy, and 100 cities have signed for this policy in 2017. And in the same year, about 1,846 cities have crossed open defecation free, declared open defecation free in 2018. And moving forward in 2018 again, 19 out of the 36 states and union territories have published the policies, and many cities are in the process of issuing the policy. And by 2018, 22 FSTPs have come into operational in the whole of the country. So and the next, moving forward, like 442 towns in India have issued tenders for FSTP. Many states have gone for complete FSTPs in all of its town. And the National Urban Sanitation Policy have also been updated, and revisions have been made to include FSM into it. And also the national level program of Swachh Survekshan also integrated FSM in its indicators. So these are some of the key achievements that we have gone throughout, like in the years of from 2008 to till now. So some of the emerging like policy books that we have released. The first one is National Policy on FSSM, which was released in 2017. And prior that, we also have a primer and an advisory, which talks about the financial implications and also the technologies which can be used in India for FSSM. And then in Amrut, financial allocations have also been made for fecal sludge and septage management. And emphasis was also made in Swachh Sarvekshan. New indicators have been added for treatment of fecal sludge, emptying, and transportation in the Swachh Sarvekshan study. And lastly, MAUA has also endorsed FSM training modules. So you can find this on the NIUM website. They have designed training modules for different set of ULB officials, which highlights on design module, technology module, and also capacity building. So these are some of the key achievements which we have achieved till now. And in terms of numbers, if we see, because of the Swachh Bharat campaign and also Swachh Sarvekshan and many of the national policies, so today about 62 lakh individual toilets have been constructed, which is more than what we have marked before. And about 6 lakhs community and public toilets have been constructed, which is like 121% of the coverage, more than what we require. And about 4,360 cities have already been declared ODF, and recertification process is also been going on. So these are some of the key achievements under Swachh Bharat mission. So, and 6 of the states, which overall come together as 500 million population, are taking up this FSM initiatives like Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, AP, and Telangana. So fecal sludge treatment plans are coming up, and they have already issued FSM guidelines and regulations in the states. So many of the capacity building programs are also being taking up for the stakeholders. Awareness generation workshops are being conducted in these states, and recognition of the government champions like Mativatan sir from Odisha. So all of these processes being going on in many of the states. So lastly, in terms of the way forward, what do we need to do still to achieve and sustain this process? So the first one is the state FSM policy. So every state should have the FSM policy and regulations in place. And capacity building is at most important to all the stakeholders, ULB officials, and even sanitation workers and all the state agencies. And norms and policies and regulations for FSM at state level. And emphasis should be given for worker safety and mechanization. Manual scavenging is prohibited in India, so we have to look for more innovative and technologies where worker safety will be prioritized. And the third block, we can see that scheduled desludging. So right now, in very few cities, we see scheduled desludging. So mostly it is based on demand desludging. So it's very important that we go for scheduled desludging and explore more and more co-treatment opportunities. So in metro cities like in Hyderabad or in Mumbai, where the city already has STP, but to serve the peripheral area, the demand from the peripheral area, the city can go for co-treatment also. So they need not build a new system again. And lastly, focus on reuse and reuse and circular economy also. So the treated solids and the liquids can be reused inside the plant, or they can also be used for agriculture and other purposes. So that's it from my side. I request Chari sir to add and build on this, like if I miss out anything.
Nothing specific to add, Josna. Thank you very much for. You can probably remove the. So I think just 1 or 2 points I thought I would just add to what Josna has said. Number one is our journey was pretty rapid. So the National Urban Sanitation Policy of 2008, I distinctly remember because it was, we were very closely involved in drafting the NUSP. While there was reference strong reference made for septage management, but the detailing was not done because we were at the time still struggling to push, eliminate open defecation. But NUSP recognized the importance of septage management, but the detailing and the funding options were not available. So till 2008 to 14, while JNNURM was there was no specific scheme or a program was available in the country to push the agenda. So while the problem recognition happened in 2008 and JNNURM continued to focus on sewer systems to a significant level, only in 2014-15 that specific attention was given for toilet infrastructure, individual household toilets, a national scheme, additional central assistance was made available. So I think that's a significant landmark. And till 2016, as a country, while we were pushing for individual household toilets and public toilets and community toilets, we really didn't recognize the importance of the waste coming out of these toilets. So I would say that in a short span of 4 to 5 years, I must proudly say that no country has made this transformational, shift of recognizing the importance of waste management, not just toilets, but going beyond toilets. So the progress of what Josna presented, now more than 25 states have introduced FSSM policies, recognized it with their own funds, even before national government putting money on the table for FSSM. With their own funds, many states have taken off and they have made their own investments and recognized the problem and started looking at investing in operationalizing these regulations and creating treatment infrastructure from their own budgetary funds. I think in my view, this is phenomenal. It's a collective effort of people like all of us who could inform in our respective spheres of influence. Now, Josna made one interesting comment about circularity. I would like to highlight here. Even now, while we have standards for disposal for liquid waste under EP Act as well as under Water Act, certain aspects are covered and particularly coming from the EP Act. But solids for biosolids are yet to be evolved. So the biosolids coming from STPs, the biosolids coming from fecal sludge treatment plants, from sludge drying beds to deep row entrenchment systems, or even any other systems. The solids are actually unregulated to some extent in our country, especially India. I'm not talking about Nepal or Bangladesh, but in India. And the solids, the regulation for safe management of the solids is I think is a journey that we are right now undertaking. CPHU has created a small group which is looking at standards for biosolids. So the standards can drive the principles of circularity. Lack of standards sometimes undermine the principles of circularity recycling efforts. Now, once the standard comes, a lot of innovations will come, a lot of new technologies will come for recycling of these biosolids. I think that's all I would like to add to what Josna has presented. It's a great journey, and I saw, I think someone has placed a Malasur campaign behind the screen that shows that FSM has been part and parcel of the DNA now of many municipalities, and thank you very much for putting that screen. My screen is about FSTP in Hyderabad, so it's becoming it's growing culture now that we recognize that it's not the toilets alone, but we have to go beyond toilets for protecting environment, protecting water bodies, like the way Hashimoto-san has presented, that just not toilets alone, but to protect water bodies, like what they have done, Jakasu Act. I think we should also move in that direction. Thank you very much, Josna, for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments.
Sujay sir has raised a point.
Yeah. Before going to the next participant, Sujay sir, would you like to make your comments?
Yeah, thank you for this very interesting presentation, also, Jyotsna. And and Professor Chari, I just want to two small questions, which basically I'm not aware of. That's why. One is I was looking at a few articles by NIU and Deepinder Kapoor ji that the SBMG2, I think in the initial discussions was looking at a canal and STP plant kind of base system instead of going for an entire value chain system based on FSTPs. So I don't know if that has been finalized or what has been decided finally. Can you please explain? That is one point. The other point which you just now mentioned about the circular chain, you remember in the first class or first session, this was also discussed slightly. I think what we are seeing in many places or states, there is a strong demand for recovery of the financial cost from the sale of secondary products. Now, uh, I think, I don't know what is your opinion, maybe you are much more experienced in this. Do you think that if we try to focus too much on recovery of costs from secondary sale as compared to actual functioning of the FSM system, which I think is the critical demand and need, and the government needs to, if needed, pay the money for that basically, instead of asking everything that we have to, recover cost. So 2 points for you. Over.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I will take the second point first, and the first point is like sub judice bolte hai na? The sub judice state.
Can you please explain a bit what the confusion is? Because I was not.
Yeah, I will speak about it. So the second point, I completely agree that the business model of operational of FSSM through recovery of byproducts and trying to cross subsidize or finance the operation and maintenance or even capital investment of the whole FSM value chain is not going to be viable, and it will not be viable. So I think I completely agree. The conversation should be completely shifted out, that please do not expect the recovery of water or recovery of biosolids, and that offsetting a part of the O&M, offsetting a part of the capital cost is not going to happen for a couple of reasons. Number one, the quantities are small from FSTP point of view. Even the biggest STPs, 300 mld STPs or 500 mld STPs or 100 mld STPs, here we are talking about kiloliters. There we talk about million liters. So even there, either through gas generation and power, through gas burning of gas and then power generation, or by sale of the byproduct of the STP, sewage treatment plant, it's minuscule compared to the O&M cost. So leave alone FSTP business. So I think I totally agree. Let us not confuse the state governments or city governments. Our narrative should be very clear. It is a public service. It has to be treated, and we, instead of letting out in the public areas, let us recycle and reuse rather than use the recycled product as a revenue generation, which is not going to happen. It's a waste of effort and time. That's number one. As far as the SBM confusion is that the guidelines, the draft guidelines are out, but the final ones are yet to be released. The draft guidelines and the discussion that are happening around draft guidelines is that why should we go for only standalone FSTPs? Instead of that, let us create a grey water treatment or a STP, because any town, you have on-site systems where the sludge is generated, and then there is a grey water coming out of the household from kitchens and from wash areas, going through the stormwater drain and joining the water body or somewhere. There, when STPs are conceptualized, STP can be created. Instead of a standalone FSTP, convert that STP, which is likely to be funded under SBM, into a co-treatment infrastructure. So the trucks can take this fecal sludge to that co-treatment STP instead of setting up a standalone STP that you see behind my back. That's a standalone STP. So a city like Hyderabad, just to give you an idea, we have 8 co-treatment plants, but we also feel that since there is no STP in the vicinity and the truckers cannot go very far to discharge these beyond 10 kilometers, we also situated, the city government has also established a standalone FSTP. So this is a confusion at the ministry level. I mean, this is not yet finalized, but certain sections are promoting for co-treatment rather than financing standalone FSTP under SBM 2.0.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Harry, there are a couple of other questions. I request you to respond to them on the chat box. Yeah, over to you. Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
I will do that. I will do that.
Yeah, so next we have a Nepal country presentation. So I invite Mr. Yogendra Chitrakar sir from Nepal. He is a senior divisional engineer from Ministry of Water Supply. So welcome, sir. Are you there on the call?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, sir. So over to you, sir. Please
Okay,
explain us about the Nepal sanitation situation.
Yeah. May I share my slide?
Yes, sure, sir. You will be able to share.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is Yogendra Chitrakar from Nepal, and I'm working as a senior divisional engineer in Ministry of Water Supply. Personally, I have been engaged in this work sector since last 15 years, and since last year, I have been engaged in Ministry of Water Supply. Okay, my presentation outline will be like this. Before starting the sanitation status of Nepal, I'd like to inform you all that the present political scenario of Nepal. First of all, Nepal is the federal government, and it is the youngest youngest member of federal club in the world. It lies between 27th or 28th in the world, and it is geographically it is divided into the 3 regions: Himalayan regions, hilly regions, and Terai region. And the Terai region is borderlined with India, and the Himalayan region is the northern part, and it is border with China. As you all know that Nepal is rich in natural resources, especially the touristic and the hydropower. Nepal has 126 ethnic groups, more than 100 languages, dialects, multiple religion and cultures. Likewise, the federal system, we have federal government, and it has a bicameral and 7 provinces. You can see in the map that 7 provinces, and in 7 provinces we have unicameral legislatures. Along with, we have 753 local legislative councils, or 753 local government. So total we have 761 elected governments. In the regarding the municipality or local government, we have 6 metropolitan cities, 11 sub-metropolitan cities, 276 municipalities, and 460 rural municipalities. And in Nepal, we have approximately 30 million people by 2020, and we have around 62% of people living in urban areas. So let's go to the Constitution of Nepal. In Constitution of Nepal, access to safe water supply and sanitation, it is fundamental right. It is declared in the Constitution of Nepal, which is a very good initiatives of Nepal government. And likewise, we have a right to live in a fresh environment, which attracts the sanitation and hygiene as well. Health-related right and consumer right. Based on this constitution, we have also proposed a WAS Act in the parliament. So national sanitation policies, we have the sanitation hygiene master plan, which was 2011, and under FSMP, we have traveled our ODF journey, and we have succeeded in declaring the Nepal as a ODF country in 2019. Likewise, we do have the Total Sanitation Guideline 2016, Fecal Sludge Management Institutional and Regulatory Framework in 2016. Similarly, the school WAS implementation was approved in 2016 by Ministry of Education. And we do have the WAS cluster group, which is working as one of the cluster for the National Disaster and Risk Management Authority. In that authority, we have health cluster, education cluster, and different other clusters. Which is responsible for the provincial and national level preparedness plan to address multiple hazards like flood, landslide, earthquake, fire, outbreaks, and of course the COVID-19 like pandemic situation. And it has the responsibilities for creating contingencies plan, and it has the mandatory to outline the yearly capacity at least twice a year, and hundreds of organizations, INGOs, NGOs are involving in this cluster so that the infection prevention and controlling can be done, and risk communication and community engagement can be assured. We have the following sanitation policies in the pipelines. I have already mentioned that WAS Bill 2020 is in the Parliament for the approval under the Constitution of Nepal. Likewise, we do have the sector development plan, which have to be approved from the Cabinet, WAS Policy 2020, Total Sanitation Master Plan after the ODF declaration, sewage plan guideline for the municipality, which is being prepared since last year, and I am one of the member in preparing this guideline representing Ministry of Water Supply. Likewise, to institutionalize the hand washing behavior and to create the national roadmap regarding this hand hygiene for all. We are also preparing this with the technical assistance with UNICEF and WHO. Similarly, we have National Sewerage Development Policy 2021, which is going to be approved as soon as possible. So, National System to Support Drinking Water Sanitation and Hygiene Global Status Report 2019 shows that we have the following graphical scenarios regarding policies and plans of sanitation on drinking water and hygiene. So it was divided into the federal government, provincial government, and local governments. And also we are creating the NWASH MIS tool, which has been developed by the ministry, which generates automated wash plan report after the federal feeding necessary data to the system. I will be explaining this later on in brief. So regarding plans and targets of sanitation, we do have national targets, international arena targets. In 2019 fiscal year, we have 2.1% of the population which have access to the sewerage and the treatment plant. We are on the 15th plant. We are implementing the 15th five-year plan by which is governed by the National Planning Commission of Nepal. And by the end of this 15th five-year plan, which is going to be in 2023 and 24, we have targeted 20% of the population will have the sewerage network and the service of SDP. In SDG, which is the global indicator, Nepal has to achieve 50% of the population, which is a little bit difficult to be achieved. Likewise, basic sanitation, we have achieved 100%. As I have already mentioned that in 2019 September, we have declared Nepal as a ODF. Similarly, according to the IPCC, that is as per the Paris Agreement, nationally determined contribution for the 2020 and 25, we have targeted two important indicators for the wastewater and fecal sludge management. By 2025, we will be treating 380 mld of wastewater, which will be generated by 20% of the population at that time. 6.6 million of the population generating that amount of wastewater have to be treated. Likewise, in the case of fecal sludge, we have to treat 60,000 cubic meter per year, which will be generated by 1.5 million of the people have to be treated. So sanitation service key stakeholders, we do have, as already said, that federal, provincial and local government we have. And under federal government, we have National Planning Commission, Minister of Water Supply, which is the apex and lead agency for the WASH sector in the Nepal. The regulating body, which is Ministry of Health and Population. The supporting agencies like Ministry of Science, Technology and Education, Ministry of Urban Development, and Ministry of Federal Affairs and General Administration. In provincial level, we have Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Development, that is MOPID. And in local government, we have municipalities, and under municipalities, we have infrastructure development units and social development units. Combinedly, these units look after the WASH sector in the local government. The policy planning, facilitating and tariff fixation is done by the federal government. But the provincial government looks after only the planning and infrastructure development. And in the local government, we have the planning, implementation, monitoring and regulating mechanisms under the local government. And likewise, we do have the INGOs, NGOs, UN agencies, JICA, USAID, FINIDA, GTZ, World Bank, and ADB, which is supporting Nepal's WASH sector. Regarding this sanitation chain value, current status, I have already shown in the graphical in previous slides that on-site sanitation dependency in Nepal is 89% of the population. Status of safe emptying and transportation is 11%, and the treatment facility we do have 2.1% of the people. In 2019, we, as per the Nepal multiple indicator cluster survey, which is under the NPC, Nepal Planning National Planning Commission, we have this scenario. Overall in Nepal, only 11% of the people are served with the sewer line, and rest of the people are under the on-site sanitation system, that is septic tank, pit latrine, VIP latrine, and others, and open defecation, of course, at the beginning of the 2019, but at the end of the 2019, we have declared Nepal as open defecation free country. So it was the journey that we have achieved the open defecation. And the last month JMP report 2021 has shown that Nepal is the topmost country in the sanitation progress and sanitation achievement. So I have already mentioned that the NWASH MIS, which is monitoring and tracking system, the main function of this NWASH MIS is WASH planning in local government and WASH plan development. Likewise, SDG reporting is being conducted by this platform, identifying the investment options in the local government and in the provincial government, likewise in federal government, was business promotion, grant flow mechanism for the provincial and the local governments, decision support system for the federal government, and sectoral development plan monitoring and tracking system. And for the monitoring and tracking system, this NWAS MIS has the following guideline, following 8 guidelines, which is as follows: and leaving no one behind, monitoring of the service, institutional setup, capacity development of the service provider, priority setup, availability of fund and bridging the gap, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting. And finally, wash in all situation. It is basically depends upon the theme of SDG 6.2. Likewise, this monitoring and tracking NWAS MIS system, uh, uh, we, uh, which will develop the municipal WAS plan. And under the municipal, we have to address the WAS facilities, WAS services in the school, healthcare facilities, and other WAS service providers as well. And as per the dashboard, uh, uh, by today we have entered 303 municipalities data, which is about 2 million people data in this monitoring and tracking system, which is NWAS MIS. Now,
So just sorry to interrupt you, just a quick time check. So I request you to wrap up in the next 2
okay, just 3 slides. In the beginning, we have seen the video of Kathmandu Swiss, and in Kathmandu, we do have the Holy Pashupatinath temple, and we have focused the to clean the river of Bagmati, which is flowing by the side of the Holy Pashupatinath, and we have proposed, and it is under the operation and management phase, and which is under operation. We have the STP of capacity 32.4 MLD, and also we are constructing 4 more STPs in Kathmandu Valley, which is proposed to be the milestones to clean up the river system in Kathmandu. These are the pictorial views and initiatives. Also, we have the fecal sludge management or fecal sludge treatment units spread over the country. More than 30 fecal sludge treatment units are under the construction. The key sanitation challenges we do have in Nepal is the lack of political priorities, insufficient policies, guidelines because of the recently transformation into the federal government, and inadequate program and investment priorities, weak institutional and technological capacity in the operation and management of STP and FSTPs, non-existence regulatory mechanism, and like in India, we do have also the rapid urbanization and rapid urbanization. I don't know about the governance, but we have also ineffective governance. We have 62% of the people living in urban areas, which is high rising. And the way forward I would like to mention is the intergovernmental coordination, fill the policy financing gap, and WAS plan rollout in the local government, sectoral coordination, and private sector engagement is utmost important. And we are looking forward to work with private companies under the private partnership policies. So I would like to conclude my presentation with this way forward. Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Interesting actions and achievements. So since we are running out of time, so there are a couple of questions on the chat box. So I request you to please answer those on the chat. So it's time that we move to the next
Do you
participant.
have time for a question or no?
We can have a quick question, sir. One quick question.
So on the Nepal side, I just wanted, it's a fantastic presentation. You said tariff fixation is a national mandate. The tariff for water and wastewater is with the national government, or can you clarify that?
Yeah, at present, we don't have any institutional arrangement for the provincial and the local government. So federal government is taking care of the tariff fixation all over the Nepal
All
or
over the
across
country.
the Nepal.
Okay.
Can I make you clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I guess you can stop your screen share. So our next presenter, I now invite Ms. Brinali Ghosh from UNICEF. She is going to present us about the Assam sanitation profile.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Bernadi Ghosh, and I am going to present on behalf of Assam the sanitation challenges and intervention, as I was asked. So, firstly, I would like to say that Assam is basically a clean state, and it was declared as an open defecation free state in 2019 March. Uh, Under the Swachh Bharat Mission program, we made around more than 32 lakhs toilets in rural areas and more than 73,000 toilets in urban areas. And before that, prior to the Swachh Bharat Mission program, the sanitation coverage was only 38%. So the process and the journey of declaring the state as ODF was quite humongous task, and with lots of convergence with the and partnership with various institutions and organizations, universities, various other departments. The whole program was taken up, and the policies were developed so that the state can be declared as open defecation free. So as I was asked to discuss the challenges and the interventions taken up by the state in this regard, I would like to say that uh, at this moment, the convergence related to Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin and the 15 FC Tight Fund that is supposed to be done to implement the SBMG Phase 2 is a challenge, because in Assam the program is the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin is implemented by a different department that is under PhD Public Health Engineering Department, and the 15 FC Tight Fund is handled by Panchayati Raj Development Department. So to utilize the fund in this convergence modality was a challenge, because this was for the first time that fund was utilized in a 70-30 ratio in some of the infrastructures to be made up by SBMG in GP level. So the intervention, the state has taken up joint level meetings with both the ministers of PhD and Panchayati Raj, and they have come up with a jointly signed minutes on 15 FC fund modalities and how it will be utilized and what will be the modalities, and various rounds of joint meetings and discussions were taken up at state, district, block and GP level. At the same time, the panchayats were capacities of the Panchayati Raj institution members were strengthened by converging with SIRDs and NIRDs. In this and the next thing was another challenge that Assam faces is the gap in washing institutions, the facilities in water and sanitation facilities in institutions like schools, Anganwadi. One more thing, that Assam is highly flood affected state, and more than 50% of the districts are affected by flood, and lots of, there are the flood season is from around April, May to September, so highly affected, highly flood prone area. So to this causes a lot of damage in from various properties, including the sanitation facilities. So though the government has taken it up and has constructed a lot of toilets, but still water facilities and sanitation facilities during the flood time creates a lot of problem. And for this, the government has taken up this convergence programs, and with various other institutions. And at this moment, the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin is converging with various other institutions like NIPSID and SIPRD to integrate various modalities related to WASH facilities and institutions, so that even in other departments, these areas can be talked about and highlighted, and fund can be utilized from their program to ensure that WASH institutions are actually taken up and actually prioritized. Related to FSM, the fecal sludge management, the challenge is that almost the whole state's urban area has a design of open drains to carry the storm water and the practice of dumping waste and used as a grey water outlet. The state does not have any FSM policy or strategy, and the amount of the sludge generated in urban areas of the state has not been quantified uh, at this moment. There is no monitoring or quality assurance in place for emptying the sludge conveying trucks. So, and there is the datas need to be strengthened. The datas are still not there related to septic tank and the volume of sludge generated. There is also a challenge related to transportation. There is a limited transportation facilities, and the state also requires to take up extensive survey on designing the sewer network, which is at the point of discussion. Related to the intervention, the urban development department has taken up plans and is in the process of developing a FSM strategy, and they are coming up with a plan of developing two model programs, two model urban local bodies related where FSM will be taken up, and that can be actually scaled up in other part of the states, where UNICEF Assam is also supporting through their technical assistance and ensuring capacity building of the implementers. Assam also is having, as I highlighted before, that flood is also a big problem. So disaster resilient toilets are important, but as it cost a bit more than the standard rates or standard amount required, the cost required for constructing a toilet. So not all the departments are actually interested, or they have fund to build disaster resilient toilet. So as an intervention, the disaster resilient toilets design is being made. Estimates are being already developed by the department, by the public health engineering department. Some of the engineers are trained on the designs, and it has been placed at higher level meetings even with CM, so that it can be taken up. So these are the plans that Assam at this moment, the challenges are there, and this is how the interventions are being taken up by the state. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So any quick question from Pranali, ma'am? Any of the participants would like to ask?
Josna, can I ask?
Yes, sir.
I would like to know the little more on the disaster resilient toilet that you spoke. Would you like to
Basically,
inform everybody?
yeah. So this disaster resilient toilets are supposed to be built in a area where mostly flood affected areas. It is a bit raised toilet, where the pit is also raised and the platform of the toilet is also raised, so that even during floods this can be utilized, as Assam is highly flood affected. But the cost of the disaster resilient toilets are a bit more than the normal toilets. These toilets are also twin pit toilets, but with a raised pit and raised platform.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Professor Chari, can I come in? Sujoy speaking.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'll just add one more point. Excellent presentation from Sam. For the special flood resilient toilets, UNICEF and an agency Radar, you might have heard about them, which looks at disasters. We worked in the states of Gujarat and Assam 2 years back to develop these facilities, toilets, which Barnali was mentioning, in which it was raised. That was number one. And secondly, the hinges and the joints were strengthened so that they can support flood water. And she mentioned the cost was between 15,000 and 15,000 plus. And because Assam, you realize it's hilly areas, transporting costs are a bit high. But I understand some states like Jharkhand had said that under Swachh Bharat mission, they will pay the extra money if it is flood affected areas. So it is an advocacy issue with government that those identified flood affected districts, whether we can provide a bit higher incentive so that better and more, stronger and flood resilient facilities are made. Over.
This is fantastic, very useful. Barnaliji, if you have some pictures later, you can share some of those visuals so that for
Sure,
the benefit of everybody. Thank you.
sure, sir. I'll show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So our next presentation is on UP. So with this, I invite Mr. Mithilesh Kumar Mishra from SPMG UP.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And Jyotsna, I will request you to allow me screen share on Sunil Kapoor's ID.
Okay, please try, sir. You'll be able to share.
Okay. Hope my screen is now visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, we can see it. So I request you to wrap up in 7 minutes, sir. We are running short of time, sir.
So this is the biggest challenge that I see wrapping up it in 7 minutes. But anyway, I'm Mithilesh Mishra, working with State Mission for Clean Ganga, Uttar Pradesh. And we are involved in the task of cleaning, making the river more normal and clean and aviral. So the importance of managing appropriately, scientifically, municipal solid waste emerges the challenge that we face over here. We just a little bit about the river Ganges, total length 20-25 kilometers, 1025 passing through UP, watershed area, India, Bangladesh, Tibet, Nepal. It's an Himalayan river originating in Gangotri, going to Bay of Bengal, largest river by discharge in the world, most sacred, around 11 lakh square kilometers of catchment area, of which 8.5 lakh kilometers in UP, in India. There are 11 states, five states on the main stem. It's very important for survival of humans and other life forms. There are about 90 amphibian species, around 143 fish species found in this river. Dolphin and Gangetic sharks are endangered. We all know this. The important states are Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Delhi, Himachal, Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. Important tributaries of the river, Ramganga, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandaki, others. See, it covers around 26% of the land area of our country, carries about 28% of water resources, 43% of the population is benefited, and 57% of the agricultural land is made fertile by it. The important cities, as you know, they are Rishikesh, Haridwar, Farrukhabad, Kanpur, Jajmau, Allahabad, Mirzapur, Varanasi, Gazipur, Buxar, and others. The soil in the alluvial plains of northern plains are very fertile, which helps to grow potatoes, wheat, lentils, oilseeds, rice, sugarcanes. It makes 57% of the land area fertile. The depth of the river is shallow at some points and it's very deep at some points. The two important characteristics of river Ganges is it helps to decompose organic matter fastest. It's said that 25 times faster than any other river in the world. And the river also helps to control mosquitoes. The river is unique. It's called as the national river of India. There are serious concerns which the river is facing. The first is the sewage discharge, wherein this presentation comes in during this training session. And there are other concerns related to trade effluents and other pollutants due to rapid urbanization and industrialization, which includes disposal of solid waste. And the river is in demand for irrigation, drinking water, processing water, hydropower, etc. The population of the country is growing almost 140 crores today. Urbanization is very rapid, industrialization is also rapid, and the country is developing very fast. So all these things are giving a big challenge to the river Ganges. There are 97 urban centers, of which 2,953 MLD sewage is discharged in the rivers. There are around 155 drains which fall in the Ganges. There are 1,100 grossly polluting industries discharging around 700 million liters per day of discharge. The biggest industries which are polluting river are tanneries, paper, pulp, sugar, distillery, fiber, dye, and pigments. There are other kind of waste, agricultural waste, pesticides, inorganic fertilizers, nitrates, open defecation, religious waste like nirmali and idol submerging, and incomplete cremation of human dead bodies. Coming to this sewage kind of thing which is polluting river Ganges, There are 636 drains which discharge around 3,648 million liters of sewage daily. So this is the challenge, that we should have appropriate systems in place which helps us to scientifically dispose of our municipal liquid wastes. Out of these 636 drains, there are 416 untapped drains which have a total discharge of nearly around 2,000 million liters per day. Of which 220 drains are tapped, which discharges around 1,651 million liters per day. If you see the river Ganges through UP, there are total 725 drains falling into the river Ganges through Yamuna and its main tributaries, where discharge is around 3,523 million liters. And total tap drains are only 225 drains with a discharge capacity of 808 million liters. So there is a lots of gap between the treated sewage which is falling into the river and the sewage which is being treated. Even the treated sewage is not with zero BOD, it has the pollution loads, and the treated sewage is also discharged into the river, which further adds to the pollution of the river Ganges. So the important requirements for keeping the river clean and normal is keeping pollution and rejuvenation abated, and we need to adopt a river basin approach wherein interstate and intra-sectoral coordination for planning and management is required. We need to maintain the ecological flow of the river. We need to ensure that continuous flow all along the length is maintained and the river gets an opportunity to ameliorate itself. We also need to impose restrictions on industries to safeguard the characteristics of river quality. Inspection of any premises and all industrial premises can run only with help of directions which is given by pollution control boards. We need to take up investigations and research and collect and disseminate information that we get. So the national authorities which are engaged in keeping the Ganges clean are the National Ganga Council, which is...
Yes, if you can give a little more emphasis on sanitation and wastewater management related issues, that will be very useful, sir.
Right. So keeping Ganga clean is basically challenge of providing appropriate treatment facilities for all municipal sewage that is generated. So we are seeing that there is a huge amount of sewage falling into the river which gets untreated, which is not treated. So total estimated sewage generation in UP is around 5,000 million liters per day. The total capacity placed for treating sewage is around 3,159 million liters per day. And the total capacity which is under development for treating sewage is around 1,363 million liters per day. So number of projects that we have taken under Namami Gange project is around 46 projects, of which 21 is completed. The completed sewage projects have an treatment capacity of 407.91 MLDs. 91 projects are ongoing. So other industries are also a big problem for keeping river Ganges clean. So we need to have some drains which are not treated through STPs, to treat it through bioremediation or phytoremediation and geobags on modular basis. These technology are still under development and which are being promoted by NEERI, NPCC Gurgaon and IITR Lucknow. So results obtained through these technologies are not very encouraging, but definitely some alternate models have to be adopted.
Would you like to speak a little bit on the monitoring systems that you have developed? I understand you have good real-time monitoring also for ensuring quality, status of pollution in these waters.
So the river Ganges quality is being maintained, is being monitored under the National River Water Quality Monitoring Program, which is run by CPCB. Yeah. Their variations are identified and samples are collected regularly on fortnightly basis, and these samples are analyzed and the reports are kept on the UPCB's portal for this. And there are other organizations.
What is the frequency? Is it a real-time monitoring or they monitor once in a while? Is there
there are few real-time monitoring stations, but generally most of the samplings are done on fortnightly basis through different locations and points. STPs are being used as a major technological interventions for treating sewage. But then we also need to have some other technology which is cheap, available, and really very efficient. What we can do is also we can modify our drainage systems, and the drainage systems itself, the drains which carry sewage itself start treating the waste in situ. We can also have some smart water commodes where commodes are modified and which helps us to filter out the solid waste, solid sludge at the point of generation itself. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation.
Thank you, sir. So there's one hand raised from Hema, ma'am. So would you like to ask your question, ma'am?
Not really asking a question, just am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Just supporting with the information given by Mr. Mishra about the real-time monitoring systems. We are having, as far as the water quality of River Ganga, it is monitored through manual as well as real-time water quality stations on River Ganga and its tributaries. So on manual water quality, we are having 97 water quality station on the main stem of River Ganga. And apart from that, under National Water Monitoring Program by CPCB, there are around total 426 stations on the River Ganga and its tributaries in Ganga Basin. So these are the manual water quality stations. Like in the 97 station, earlier the frequency was on a monthly basis. Now the frequency has been increased to twice a month on fortnightly basis. And apart from manual water, we are having real-time water quality stations, around 36 existing real-time water quality stations on River Ganga and its tributaries, where the real-time water quality data is collected on hourly basis. And it is the real-time information is displayed on the IT platform on the CPCB website, as well as the various important dashboards. And then we are, apart from this 36, we are also having 40 new stations coming up. So then there will be a network of total 76 real-time water quality stations on River Ganga and its tributaries. This was regarding the River Ganga quality. Apart from that, there is a system of online continuous effluent monitoring system established for grossly polluting, at the outlet of grossly polluting industries. So for the purpose of self-assessment and compliance purpose. And we are also now, the new STPs which are being set up, they are also having the system of real-time monitoring system at the outlet of the STPs. So this is about the monitoring network which is there in Ganga Basin.
So Hemaji, Josna, if time permits, I would like to ask one.
Yes, yes.
Hemaji, I think monitoring is one of our weak links in the system. Generally, we tend to ignore monitoring, particularly the outlet monitoring at different levels. So I think it will be useful if you, Mithilesh, if you can share some of the tools you are using, the frequency of monitoring, and also real-time monitoring. What are the costs and what sort of technologies are you using for real-time? It will be very helpful for other cities also. So I would appreciate if you could share in the next session, if not immediately, but later if you can share.
Right. All right.
Yeah, one more question is for the presenter. Ganga Basin has many urban areas and sewage and septage is a big issue. And many households, more than 60% of households are on-site toilet systems. So how FSM, fecal sludge management, is it integral to the mission, sir, now? As part of your national mission, is it now recognized that it is one of the potential solution, not the only solution, but one of the solutions to minimize the pollution of Ganga Basin?
So at the state level, it is well pondered and thought of that instead of coming for building big STPs, costly STPs, the state will go for an FSTP kind of things. the state also have 2 operational FSTPs, one at Agra and other at Chuna. So this has come up as a big technological support and help and the system, which will be placed to support the quality of river Ganges and provide services to the city as required.
Thank you. Josna, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mithilesh sir and Hema ma'am. So we'll move on to our next presenter. Our next presentation is on Arunachal Pradesh. So I request Mr. Tadar Tarang sir, Executive Engineer from Aitanagar. Welcome, sir. I request you to please present on Arunachal Pradesh sanitation profile. So you're on mute, so please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. So is Tadar Tarang sir on the call? I see him, but his mic is mute.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good evening.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Yeah. Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
This is Tadar Tarang, madam.
Yes, sir, we can hear you now.
Yeah, you
Please,
want
please go
anything,
ahead.
any input from my side?
No, I request you to share your experience on the sanitation profile of Arunachal Pradesh.
First of all, yeah, good evening to all the members. This is Tadar Tarang from Itanagar. I am executive engineer working in Itanagar Municipal Corporation. First of all, in regards to sewerage and septage, I tell you, we are very much in a very initial stage. We don't know still ABC about this project because recently we have started the preparation of DPRs and the design of one septage treatment plant and sewage network system. So we are yet to ground this project. And last night also I was talking to Sahil, I mean the one calling from this ASCII. I was requesting him that we need help from those mainlands who are expertise in this. But now, ma'am, I cannot share any experience because we are yet to start these projects in the city, ma'am.
You can share your challenges, sir, if you want, like any quick
challenges
challenge.
In terms of challenges, I tell you is that even the networking works, which I mean the networking works we have to start now because these days this.
Josna,
I think yeah, problem. Yes, we lost him. So I guess we, sir, your voice is cracking. We cannot hear you. You can share your comments on the chat, sir.
Anyone else is there, Jyotsna, from Arunachal? Maybe.
Yes, ma'am. We have from Tripura, Prasanjit, sir. So maybe we can go ahead.
Arunachal, no one else is there?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
So maybe
Very
when
good
sir
evening.
comes back, you can rope him back.
Yeah. Sure.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible. So,
very good evening, everyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry because of the network services. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please.
Ma'am, that was it, and only when.
We lost you again, sir.
That was it, and when we actually, execute the ground, I mean, project on the ground, then we'll able to, come across. Yes, but now the project is yet to be grounded.
Okay, I will put some questions for him in the chat. So
yeah,
we will go to Tripura. Thank you.
Okay. So Prasanjit sir, over to you. Please take us to the Tripura experience.
Hello.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah, happy Eid to everyone. Very glad to have this opportunity to showcase the various FSSM strategies and planning challenges of my state Tripura in sanitation process and in achieving sustainable development goals. Tripura actually has 20 ULBs, among which only one ULB, namely Agartala Municipal Corporation, is the biggest in terms of population and area. And other 19 ULBs are smaller and having population less than 50,000. Presently, I am a junior engineer in designation and posted in Amarpur Nagar Panchayat, which is one of the smallest ULB of Tripura. I am working as a nodal officer of Swachh Bharat Mission and looking various works related to solid waste management. As far as sanitation process in the state is concerned, state have sanitation action plan for all the urban local bodies in Tripura since 2013. Our state Tripura has won 8 MLD sewage treatment plant for Agartala Municipal Corporation. And as of now, FSTP is under planning stage, not constructed yet. Presently, my ULB is being declared ODF plus and having 100% on-site sanitation. We do not have any septic treatment plant yet. New FSSM policy is yet to be formulated by the state. We collect sludge daily from households with cesspool, and that is not, scheduled dislodging is not done. We collect as per the demand of the people, and then transport it to an area located in upper hill for drying purpose. It is not fully satisfactory as we are in the initial position to accept better scientific approaches like other northeastern states, and no reuse and disposal process is yet started. We are in a position to give momentum to the safe sanitation process, and the state government is also taking various steps to accelerate priority to the sanitation process. Some of the steps state government has taken to accelerate FSSM are construction of fecal sludge treatment plant. DPR is under process. Actually, Asian Development Bank is giving fund for construction of FSTP for all the ULBs in Tripura. And for that, Tripura Urban Development Authority is preparing DPR presently. And the land already selected in my ULB. Clearance is yet to be taken from Pollution Control Board. And one of the best steps taken by the state government toward achieving safe sanitation in near future is a constitution of separate dedicated board to look after safe drinking water supply and sanitation. That is Tripura Jal Board. The Jal Board will assist all the ULBs for scientific approaches of sanitation. Tripura Jal Board Act is already passed by the Tripura Legislative Assembly, and the consent of governor was also received. The third smallest state, Tripura, in India, is approaching towards achieving safe sanitation. And I hope by this approach, we may fulfill the safe sanitation parameters of CWIS, maintaining responsibility, accountability, and resource planning and management. And I think it is the perfect time to get trained in this training, as my state and my ULB is in the initial position of framing FSSM policy and adopting scientific measures for safe sanitation. And I look forward to learn more interesting things from ASCII and from this outstanding training for implementing the same in my area. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Any quick question from participants? Okay, we can move on to the next
My
president.
suggestion to Tripura,
yes,
while you are drafting the excellent news that you are drafting of water supply and sewerage, water supply and board, you may also look at, instead of calling it as water supply and sewerage board, you may call it as water supply and sanitation board, to look at both on-site as well as off-site solutions. It's not a question, but it's just a suggestion. Thank you.
Yes, sir. It's also for off-site sewage, but the name is already enacted and already published in Gazette.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So we have two more presentations. So firstly, our next presentation is from AP, Andhra Pradesh. So I invite Mr. Manohar Reddy, sir, to please present on AP scenario.
Hello. Sorry to interrupting.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir,
please.
Actually,
I am having an emergency. I need to left the training. Is there any problem?
No worries, sir.
I have to go to the office now because of an emergency. My office.
No issues. Please carry on.
No issues, sir. Please carry on. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, over to you, Manohar, sir.
Good evening. Could you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, Malini ma'am. Good evening, Sari sir. And good evening to all my fellow students that we are trying to learn a lot here. Sir, more than anything else, this presentation, what I'm trying to share today, is actually a task that was given to us by our mission director. He wanted us to design a comprehensive liquid waste management for both urban and Gramin. So I thought I'll share that so that I've taken the inputs from the program and I've added it into it, and so that we have done some good work. So first, anyways, the definitions are the same, so I don't want to get into it. So next thing, the scenario of AP, a total population of 4.93 crores, out of which sewage we are generating around 4434 MLD and fecal sludge at 8301 MKLD. The strategy that we are employing in Andhra as on date is that centralized STPs for Amrit cities and low capacity STPs for non-Amrit cities and GPs with population about 10,000. Yes, I do understand there is a lot of conveyance issues, that is sewerage networks, but this will be a slow and steady progress rather than a 100-meter run. Whereas in the case of fecal sludge, the idea is that co-treatment in STPs for larger cities and standalone FSTPs in smaller cities. And then we are integrating, this is one advantage that we had in Andhra Pradesh. Both Swachh Bharat Mission and Urban work under the same department, Swachhandra Corporation, which is one of the essential components of Swachh Bharat Mission Phase 2. We are a parastatal in that sense. And then we want to establish standalone FSTPs that cover the total population of rural, but still will be accessible in distance. So this is the exercise we have taken up. So by going into the next slide, you can see the sewerage treatment in the state scenario. First, I would like to give a demographic scenario. We have 13 districts, 125 ULBs, out of which 15 ULBs are newly established, which are not still the part of any scheme, but we would get that into. We have 662 mandals and 419 GPs. And fortunately here, again, as I repeated, Swachh Bharat Mission is considered in a totality rather than urban and Gramin. That is the advantage we had from day one. So in sewerage treatment, the existing, we have around 43 STPs with 516 MLD capacity. In progress are 36 projects in 35 ULBs with 518 MLD. And proposed is that we are proposing 372 projects in 100 ULBs and 272 GPs. So you can see the map. We have a clear understanding. I'll be showing the map in the Google Pro as well. So there we can understand much better. So in terms of sewerage and treatment, it's pretty much straightforward. As I told you in the strategy itself, we are more or less going for large scale capacity STPs in the major cities and smaller capacities. While we are going through this process, we have thought of the conveyance, that is the sewerage network, and in terms of sewage. But the problem we found is it has huge investments and huge capex costs and huge maintenance as well. And it takes a lot of time. Say, for example, for a city like Uyuru, it takes time to construct sewerage network rather than constructing an STP. So it doesn't make any sense to construct an STP without the sewerage network. So in that case, what we wanted to do is we wanted to explore more and more options of decentralization to the extreme point. So the idea is that maybe 14 to 15 sewerage projects in one city. Maybe this is an idea that we are just floating by, and we are still more to explore on this idea. And then in rural areas, again, so we have around, as I told you, we have around 119 GPs, out of which 10,000 above the population is contributing to the major extent. So we are having around 315 cities. Out of 315 GPs, 43 have been recently merged or constituted as new urban local bodies, which will be accounted in Amrut city, non-Amrut cities, or Amrut cities. So this is where we want to set up STPs. So we have taken a lot of inspiration from different states. So one we found very interesting in terms of rural areas is the projects that are done in Haryana. So they were doing WSP, water stabilization ponds, with very good financials, and the projects look very good as well. You can see on the right side of your screen. So the cost is also pretty low. It's around 40 lakhs per an individual project. And they are still using the water for agriculture. So we found it very good, but we still need to do a lot of research in these terms. And again, for the populations between 5,000 to 10,000, we have to still explore, because there is a lot of scattered habitations in terms of GPs, which we generally don't observe in terms of urban areas. But in rural areas, there is the concept of scattered habitations. So a single project doesn't actually serve the purpose. So the studies and the progress, we are preparing DPS under SBM phase 2 of Grameen. So that is helping us to understand how to deal with that. And the rest of it, we are planning for going for community soak pits and individual soak pits. So this is where the interesting aspect comes, because in sewage, because I'd like to put this here, in sewage treatment, integration between two different spheres is not possible. Whereas in fecal sludge, it is very much possible, because we are using a conveyance system that is mobile. So basically we are using Gulfa machines, suction machines, jetting machines, vacuum jetting machines. So we are using vehicles which are mobile. So that will help us to basically transport the waste at a different diversified distances. So in this regard, what we did is we wanted to convert all our projects under STPs into co-treatment projects. So you can see in the top in the Amrut cities also, all the existing projects are under co-treatment. I can validate this because all these 5 cities have ODF plus certification. And in this matter of fact, I would also like to put up, out of 110 cities, we have 100 cities as ODF plus, and 7 cities have ODF plus plus, and 3 cities are working out for water plus. So in this regard, in non-Amrut, what we did is we thought of integrating it with the rural areas. And we would like to thank here for the help of ASCII. So we were able to mark all the gram panchayats that are in 10-kilometer radius. For the existing, we have already called tenders for 76 FSTPs, and 1 FSTP was constructed by BMGF with the help of ASCII. So all these projects we have covered, and that has come out to be 747 gram panchayats, and we were saving 558 KLD. So this is a major turnaround here, which increases the capacity utilization of the existing projects and also covers a lot of investment that is needed in the rural areas. And in this regard, we have to talk about transportation of the fecal sludge. So what we have envisioned a lot of problems here, because generally the distances will increase to a large extent. So in this regard, how do we do it? How do we handle if the distances are increased? So we are trying to go for an entrepreneur model based on the loans that we get from NFS KDC. So we took inspiration from the Narsapur's case study that we have seen a few weeks back. And we wanted to replicate that idea with the support of SC Corporation, and which is the local channeling agency for NFS KDC. And we want to provide loans and bring that up. And again, in rural areas, as of now, we don't have any fecal sludge treatment happening. It's only the integration that is serving to a little extent. So that again, in rural areas, we wanted to propose a lot of fecal sludge treatment as well. So in there, we have suggested 46 projects with 50 KLD each. Now we are actually thinking of why don't we do it 25 KLD, maybe 92 KLD, that will reduce the stress on transportation as well. So in the, I'll show you a small Google Pro video that will help to understand how we have mapped. Joshna, can you see the screen? Can you see the map?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. So you can see the basically the FSTPs in urban. So these are all the FSTPs that we have in urban. So you can see all these cities. So now rural FSTPs. Example, I'll just take one case maybe. So this is the case of Yeluru. So Yeluru is one of the corporation cities in West Godavari. What happened is that the rural area near Yeluru has a lot of population density. But we could not actually again construct an fecal sludge treatment that is focused on population. So we have to focus on conveyance and the distance that has to be traveled in terms of logistics. So that's why we have shifted the project to a nearest location that is around 35 odd kilometers from the city, which will serve the purpose of around 35 kilometers in its radius to all the gram panchayats or any other vicinities. So you can see, and in general, I just wanted to pull off the map and show you in general. So you can see we have ensured that we don't converge a lot of plants together, but straight away the question comes, Manoharji, where are the plants in this area? So this area is basically the tribal area. So Rampachodavaram, Metapaka, the Bhadrachalam area, most of it you know. So that area has no urbanization, no urban local bodies, and that too no gram panchayats with above 5,000 or population. So we are thinking of much more diverse solutions there, and it should also be a lot of maintenance-free solutions. So the studies are underway, so that we'll do there as well. And coming back to the presentation, so fecal sludge treatment, again, as I told you, the collection and transportation, we are doing it through NFSKDC. So in urban, we wanted to again emphasize on some key factors. That is one, most of the STPs that working in our state and in general in India also are not converted towards co-treatment, and not even the ongoing and in progress projects are also being converted to co-treatment. But either we should call it a fortunate or unfortunate, because the BOD value of the fecal sludge is a lot compared towards sewage, which varies, but it is quite a lot. And only 10 to 5% of the design capacity of the STP can be utilized for co-treatment. In this regard, what we understood by analyzing the information that we had for Andhra Pradesh is that maybe standalone FSTPs, even in Amrut cities, in divisional fashion will be a better solution. And then right away we had two positive things out of it. One, the logistics, the collection and transportation will be much better. And second thing, STPs will always have dynamic load. The load generally increases in cities, in at least the fast developing cities. So in that case, we can't leave out FSTP, fecal sludge. So independent projects will serve better purpose. And fecal sludge is a problem that we have to deal now. I don't say sewage is not a problem, but fecal sludge is something that is more potent towards public health. So we have to deal it now. So in that case, even in Amrut cities, we might actually think of, and we should actually give it a thought of establishing independent FSTPs, even in large cities. Then again, as I told you, the integration has served us the best idea of this is what we had. So that has given us the potential to at least save 55 crores for the state in terms of integration. Yes, it will increase transportation cost, but in the same way, it will also increase the entrepreneurship model for transporting the waste. So this is the journey that we had. We have a lot more to go, and we have a lot more to understand. We had a lot of feedback from our senior officers that we have to work on more and more things. And a lot of feedback would be, I would really be thankful to have the feedback from your side so that we can more improve the project that we are working on. Thank you. Any other details you would like? I would like to post it in the group also if you want. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So any quick question for Manohar, sir? I see a couple of them. So So there are a few questions on the chat box, so maybe you can respond there. So
Manohar, there were one or two questions. First of all, excellent presentation, fantastic, and a couple of questions. One, you may take it in the chat box, but I thought I would highlight it. It's about the estimation of the fecal sludge. One of the delegates asked how you arrived at. That's a technical question. But also, one important question that Sujayji mentioned is this urban-rural integration through Swachandra Corporation is a very unique model.
Yes, sir.
Would you like
sir,
to...
We should thank you for that. We should thank you for that.
That's okay. So, would you recommend this model to other states based on your experience on the ground?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Actually, to just give it a start, I worked as basically the Jilla Swachh Bharat Prerak for this district of East Godavari, sir. And then I have moved to the state. So I worked with Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, and then I moved to Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. The difference I found was not actually a lot, because most of the rural areas, census towns act almost as if they are towns. One thing. And one more thing, the most unique challenge that we have in urban areas is that, sir, retrofittation is a huge problem. Whereas it's not in that case of rural areas, because they have adequate space to construct a second pit if they want to. Whereas that cannot be done in urban areas. But having these two under one umbrella has given us the chance to explore much more financial ability to one another, sir. Basically, Gramin has a lot of funds, sir, comparatively, compared to urban. But the maintenance aspect of the projects or any other resources in rural areas is very low. It needs a lot more skill development. So establishing projects nearer to the urban areas which serve the purpose of the rural villages and getting them controlled by the urban local bodies will be a better scenario. That what we felt as of now we understood, sir.
Thank you. So in fact, Mr. Sujayji has given a compliment. You should act like a, the champion for other states also. So thank you very much. I think it's a good compliment.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Just now.
Yeah. So thanks to all the presenters today. So we are yet to cover a few more states. So we'll be doing that in the coming weeks. So for all the presenters today, thank you so much for taking out time and making the presentation. Please do share your PPT so that we can circulate it with the other participants as well. So any quick comments from sir, or from you or from ma'am, or else we can wind up the session.
Josna, I think this session I learned quite a bit. Thank you very much for this. This is very, very useful for us and for all the participants. So I think we should also ask other states and other experiences, other delegates from UNICEF as well as Namami Gange and others to share the presentation so that we can accommodate at subsequent, create some time slots for these presentations. I really enjoyed these presentations today. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. So we'll be having more such sessions in the coming weeks. So we'll surely incorporate that. So yeah, if there are no other comments, maybe we can wrap up today's session. So just a quick note. So for the next Saturday, we have iSchool workshop. So it is scheduled in the morning in the first half of the Saturday, starting from 10:30 to 1 o'clock. I request you all to please be present and be active in that session.
This 10 or 10:30?
It's 10:30 to 1, ma'am.
No, I think it's, we'll check because I think it's 3 hours. So 10, I think.
Anyway, just one more, Josna, make a reference to this. There will not be evening session on that day, right?
Yes, there's no evening session, only in the morning will be.
Morning session. The other thing I just like to be recorded is that hand washing with soap is another critical building block in safe sanitation. And Mr. Sujay has shared some very useful documents and also a high-level cabinet committee looking at it. So I think in the subsequent talk, in the sessions, please slot some time to enable him to share some of the emerging thoughts this hand washing with soap is in schools and public places is very, very critical for achieving SDGs. So I think just create a slot for Mr. Sujay to share his experiences for the benefit of all of us.
Sure, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining. And yeah, okay, there's a correction. So 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sorry about that.
So thank you very much, and we'll see you then Saturday.
Thank you.